Good afternoon, guys. Hope you're doing well. This is the COT data video for the week beginning the 16th of March 2026. We have to remember the macro fundamentals that are obviously going on right now with Iran, and we've got a $100 barrel. They're saying that they're going to try and push the oil price to $200 a barrel. If so, that's going to be really heavily risk off. It's going to boost like the dollar and safe havens. And the reason for them wanting to pump the oil as a retaliation against the US. So they are probably going to attack any ships, any cargo going through the Strait of Hormuz. So it's going to cause a blockade, and there's not going to be any goods to and fro. So it's going to be quite a risk-off scenario. And from a central bank perspective, it's a very blockbuster week. Okay, so we've got the RBA, okay, and then we've got the BOC, and then we've got the Fed, we've got the FMC, then we've got the Swiss National Bank, the BOE, and we've got the ECB. So it's going to be a case of trading with small sizes and trading lightly and trading with caution. Okay. And then we've got a Powell speech on Saturday. So that's really interesting. So that's almost as though they're anticipating a risk-off situation, which is obviously very, very likely. And Powell's going to say something potentially, and it's going to bolster some confidence. So that's why he's been penciled in on a Saturday. Okay, so that's going to probably cause some potential risk on. Okay, so probably risk off, and then Powell's going to come in and rescue, and then maybe we can rally, and maybe we won't gap down on Sunday, and we might do okay on the Monday. Right. So let's come to the COT file, and yes, this is very interesting as well. Before we talk about the COT, what happens that we had a flight to safety in the dollar when we had the Iran war in 1979, and gold sold off. I think it's to do with which one was a preferable safe haven, gold, XAU, or USD. The USD was the favourable safe haven at that time, and this guy is saying that we're going to probably correlate with gold price now. So what actually happened is that we had a very, very strong move to the downside, then a move to the upside. But what happened is that we didn't make a higher high. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. If I click on it, no. Oh, I don't want to do that. But anyway, we didn't make a higher high, and so that was quite a bearish scenario. So what he's saying is it down, up slightly, and we're going to probably navigate around about 3,400. So be careful with that. So we can come to the COTS file. I'll do a fire because it's really cool that he's done that for us on a Saturday. Download, yep. And so I'm going to sort of just talk about the non-coms very quickly because I've already talked about the macro fundamentals. We don't really talk about that. You just know that the stuff going on in the world that's going to bolster the USD, okay? And central banks that were going to hike, or they were going to cut, that's going to be slightly changed because of what's happening in the Middle East. Okay, so the Bank of Japan were going to hike, and now they're saying, well, they're probably not. It's not as likely now because of the situation in the Middle East. So what the central bank heads, what they say, was very, very interesting, especially what Powell's going to say at their FOMC, and then what he's going to say here as well on the Saturday. So we're going to enable editing. Oh, we didn't unblock it, did we? Yes. So this is what happens. This is what you need to do, which is fine. So we come to downloads, and then you need to right click it and then unblock it. So unblock. Okay, apply. Then we can double click it now. So we need to unblock it because of the macros. Okay, so we can maybe move that. Enable content, and then we can see what's going on and also what happens with gold, because the big fish will be looking at correlations, especially the last time there was a war that we had in Iran. So they're probably quite aware of that correlation. Chart page. So gold is going to be really interesting. Euro has moved strongly to the downside. Move chart, net non-coms, and I've got to try and not make this too long. Okay, so big move. Okay, 105 from 180. Let's move the date off. Okay, and then we're just slightly lower in the dollar, which is weird. That's going to be a little bit weird. That's kind of a bit sus, a bit suspicious. We should be moving up higher. It's almost though the wait and see what's going to happen, but really we should be moving up higher on that. Okay, yeah, and down. Okay, which kind of makes sense because the Bank of Japan were gonna hike potentially in April, but they're probably not gonna do that now and sit on their hands. So because of that, we're gonna have a weaker yen. We could look at the bubbles, but for the sake of a brevity of a brief video, we won't look at the bubbles because it's going to be a long video. Okay, but then you can always subscribe, or I can share the bubble chart in Telegram or Discord, and you can see what's going on. But they are long yen. When I say they, the retail guys. Okay, so that's quite bearish. Okay, euro down, yen down, dollar down slightly, but that's a bit bogus. The dollar is probably fake, and we're going to move higher. Okay, euro off, Aussie on. Aussie down slightly, 54 and 67. So we had a very strong week on Aussie. You would have seen in the price action, and we saw it on the non-coms. Okay, the non-coms were buying aggressively, and we saw a very, very strong Aussie last week. Okay, so that would have confused a lot of people, especially the fundamental traders, because we were risk off, and there's that correlation with the Australian dollar and risk on, risk off. So this may have been a humongous liquidity probe on the Australian dollar. Okay, we come to like multi-year highs in the Aussie, so that's down. So that's also down. Okay, Aussie off, pound on, pound's going lower, but then you can just look at the price of the pound versus USD. You know, you might not want to be long that because the GDP came out and it was weak, and that was even before the Iran crisis. So how was it going to be going forward? It's going to be quite bearish. Okay, so there's the pound and CAD. Don't forget, we've got the BOE, we've got the Bank of Canada, we've got FMC, we've got the RBA and the ECB and the SMB this week. So be careful. Okay, CAD strong 21 to 36, which would make sense because of the oil, and the Canadian dollar should appreciate. Okay, strong oil, strong CAD. Okay, and then gold is going to be really interesting. Ooh, okay, we've got that low, I believe, 161. Oh yes, we have 163. So that is interesting. We'll just have to see how we go with that. And you'll notice that I'm just trying to get this video over because it's going to be a long video, and we don't really want a massively long video. So we've got that support. Okay, New Zealand dollar, and we're just chopping sideways, and we have done for ages. And then we'll take that off, and we'll look at the Swiss franc, and then we'll wrap up. And then we can see how we go. And don't forget to stay tuned to the daily videos as well, because I'm making daily content. So if you can like the videos, that'd be great. And I'm trying to, you know, obviously boost the algo by you liking them. And if you subscribe, that'd be great as well. I'd appreciate that. Trade safely this week because it's going to be completely bonkers. And just know your exits. And you can always sit on your hands as well. You can just have like a micro lot. You don't have to trade like a large size or anything like that. Then you should be okay. And that's it. I'd like to talk about the robots and the spreadsheet, but it is going to be a long video. But just in a very, very short summary, the robots did absolutely amazing. And so I'm really, really happy with that. Okay, so trade safely, and I'll speak to you guys on Monday.